podcaster. Okay. All right, here we go. We're back for episode 3, and it's the holiday week, and we're still here. Getting very excited to relax soon. I think is this the last kind of work for us this week, Gwen?
I
You have some
I
client
think
calls.
so. I think
Yeah.
maybe we'll like wait until the new year. So this is our last one of the year. I'm
Yes.
declared it. This is our
Okay.
last.
Well, hey, look at us. In 2025, we somehow started a podcast.
Wasn't
Who
even
knew?
on our list of goals for
No,
this
it
year.
wasn't. But great lead in, because that's what we're going to talk about today is some just, I mean, not necessarily goal setting and how to do it, but I think this is a time of year that people maybe start thinking about, okay, maybe they're reviewing their goals from this past year, starting to think about what do I want to do for the next year. And you and I aren't really that big into like January has to be new goals and all that stuff, right? Like we're almost, I don't want to say we're anti that, but we
No.
also want people to realize that just because everybody else is maybe in a New Year's resolutions or goal setting thing doesn't mean you have to be. I just set a goal for myself for next year. Maybe was it a month ago now? Maybe 2 months ago?
I don't
Close
know.
to
You
2 months
told me
ago.
about a month ago. So let's
Okay.
hear it.
It was about a month. Okay, well, we're going to start there. And it wasn't a New Year's resolution. It was just something where this is actually a really cool story. So we have a really good friend who Survey and I were out for dinner with her, and she was telling us we were like, what's going on? What's new? And she's like, well, you guys, I started singing lessons, and we're like she's not a singer,
Okay.
and she's like, and it's going really well. And like we're like, hold on. Like, how do you decide that you're just gonna all of a sudden take singing lessons? Like, where are you doing this? And so she's doing it over Zoom, and she's just so awesome. She's so self-motivated. She's like, like in life, like life is just too short. Like you should find things that are scary as hell. And like, I want to be somebody that does it.
Hmm.
And she's like, Singing in public terrifies the poop out of me, right? I don't, can we swear on this?
Yeah.
And she's like, so I don't want to feel that way. I want to enjoy singing, and like, I want to learn how to do it. And so she was telling us all about how she's going to have a recital, and like, we're going to get to go to this recital eventually. And it's so funny because like this, for the past couple months, I'll say,
Hmm.
I've had this nagging thing where I think I can do this, but I don't know if I should. Like, I don't, it's probably, is it good? Is it not good?
Hmm.
And so she looked at me and she's like, what's your thing? Like, what's the thing that scares you that you want to do?
Whoa. She
Yeah.
called you out.
Right. But those are the best friends, right? Like the ones that call
Yes,
you out
of
like that.
course.
Um, and I had even talked to my coach about this, and I was like, he programmed for me this past year. He programmed a bunch of zone 2 running, right? Like not a bunch. It was a bunch for me.
Okay.
But it was in conjunction with my goals of body composition training. And so every like 2 or 3 times a week, he had me doing zone 2 runs, 30 to 40 minutes, whatever. Sometimes I'd have a long run on the weekend. And when I finally started to get into those, I was like, I'd run for 30 minutes and I'm like, I wonder if I can run a marathon. And then it's like, Sheena, you ran for 30 minutes. Like, let's bring it down, simmer down. But I had been doing it for like this entire year. I've just been doing a little bit more of like just, recovery cardio, stuff like that. And then since we talked about my son last week, one of the friends I've met along the way, her her daughter went through something the exact same thing as Gus did.
Right.
And she ran the New York City Marathon in 2024 after her daughter was treated, and her daughter's also okay now. And she said, like on this route, you run by the hospital, like where our kids were treated. And it gave me goosebumps when she was talking about it. And this was again months ago, and I was like, oh my God, I think I need to do this. And for anyone who knows me, I mean, I've told my friend I'll stop saying this, but like I am not a runner.
Hmm.
Not a runner, right? Like CrossFit athlete, sure. Softball player, sure. Like, but
Hmm.
softball, you hit the ball farther. You don't have to run. You have to run far, but not fast, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so I have, when we were having this conversation, that was the thing that just came out of my mouth. I was like, I want to run a marathon, and I want it to be New York City, and I want to do it in November of 2026. Like, and Serbia was there, and like she kind of was like, okay. And my friend was there, and she's like, good. And like it was just decided that
It just came out. It just like,
it came out. And I probably have no business running a marathon. But since then I've kind of put together a little bit of a plan. And I think when I called you and told you about it, it feels like something that I'm supposed to do,
mhm.
that I want to do. I'm excited to do it. I'm doing it for the right reasons. It gives me it's something that my former self or my younger self would have never thought I would ever do, not
Mhm.
even think about doing. But I've gone through that. I've thought about doing it, and now I'm to the point where I want to do it, and I'm scared to do it. I'm okay with saying I'm scared, but I'm also loving the part about putting the plan together and taking it like one day at a time. And just,
Mhm.
I have a goal that I know is coming up in November 2026. Um, and I love working towards it. I'm learning so much about like there's different fueling strategies, there's different ways to train for it. I'm not trying to go out there and PR this thing. I mean, where I finish, I'm going to PR it, but
Right.
I
It's
just
your
want to
personal.
finish it. I want to run the whole time. I want to enjoy it. And so yeah, I would like to run a marathon, and that's something I'd never thought I'd say before.
Wow, that's incredible. So had you thought about it before your friend asked you that question?
Yes, yes, for,
Okay.
like, months. Like, every time I would finish a run, I was like, "I wonder if I could do" like, and we're talking, like, a 30-minute zone 2 run. Like, my heart rate is, like, 130, I'm casually talking, like, or
Yeah.
whatever. But it started to like, we talk about, like, these micro changes that you can, like,
Mhm.
we talk about all the time, right? You put the marble in the jar, right? If you put marbles in a jar every day, eventually you get this huge collection of marbles. Like, that's been happening to me for a while.
Mhm.
And to the point where it just, like I said, it's like it just kind of it bubbled over, and to the point
Mhm.
where it was like I had to give myself permission to think, okay, I can actually do this. But then I needed permission from others, which
Mhm.
is okay. I told my coach, I sent him a text. I was like, this really is actually your fault. Like, you made me kind of fall in love with running with all this zone 2 stuff. And
Yeah.
I know this probably contradicts my body composition goals, but I also feel I'm probably in the best shape of my life.
Mhm.
And I feel, and that's going back to the Olympics, like I feel the most capable of
Mhm.
not only handling the strength that's required for a marathon, but like the endurance. I think I can build that up. And I feel like mentally capable to know that I can push myself through not only the training, because this is what it's about, right? It is going to be about the journey of getting, once I get to New York in 2026, it's just going to be about running the thing, but having this whole year to kind of process what my son went through. But like in my body, I process the best when I'm in my body, and when
Mhm.
I'm giving, like, so when I go out for runs, I can process what happened to him. I can give myself the space to kind of, you
Mhm.
know, whatever I need to go through to process all of that. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I heard
Yeah.
so many little pearls of wisdom in you explaining it. First of all, you're
Oh,
smiling as you're telling
yeah.
the
Yeah.
story. So that I think that in itself shows people like that you are excited about it. And like
Yeah.
you referring to these marbles in the jar, I think that's such an important analogy because you starting out with some zone 2 training and running a little more, it was because your coach, and by the way, Sheena has a coach right now. I have a
Mhm.
coach right now, and we'll talk more about that. But it was it was the path that started everything. It's that she was out there running with no intention of running a marathon. It was a piece of what came together
Yeah.
as she was having conversations with other mothers whose children went through this, and she was processing things on her run. It wasn't just about changing her body composition, right? It was about what does running bring to her? And
Yeah.
new ideas came to her in her mind
Mhm.
as she was doing this running. And so I think sometimes we don't even realize when a goal comes to us, like we try to think about a goal rather than getting into action
Yeah.
and realizing that that action is part of how the goal comes together.
Yeah.
And it's also okay to iterate the goal, right? Like you might have a training plan and you made the comment you're learning about fueling strategies. And during your training period, I mean, you have 11 months to get ready for this. You might try a certain strategy that maybe your coach tells you about, maybe another runner tells you, and then you have to trust your body and how you're responding to that fueling strategy to know what works for you.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that our clients can be really helpful for our clients and people watching this is that, ultimately we can go to experts, we can go to a coach, we can go to our friend who has maybe run a marathon before. And what we sometimes don't do is look into like what our previous experiences have taught us and incorporate that and trust ourselves on the journey
Yeah.
and not take it so seriously, like your friend who's taking singing lessons. It's like she put herself out there, she's doing it. She has no idea if she's going to flop or if she's going to do really well, but she's committed to the goal. And I think
Mhm.
that is what's so hard to do because we all put so much pressure on ourselves to have this like perfect outcome. And you know, like I've got to you didn't say one thing about, "Oh, I my goal is to do, 4 hours and 15 minutes." Your goal was, "I want to finish,
Mhm.
I want to enjoy it, and I'm going to be running past the hospital where my son was treated."
Mhm.
That's it. And you're going to enjoy the journey along the way.
Yes.
And so I think that's something that can be really helpful for people is that goals are not meant to put undue, unnecessary pressure on you. Yes, there will be this feeling of, okay, I have to go out and run. This is part of the plan, but it's not meant to break you down to the point that you want to quit. It's more about what can I learn from this? How can I kind of what we talked about last week? Like, how can I keep moving forward and know that there's still a way to work towards my goal? It may look a little different, something popped up. That's life, right? Like
Mhm.
that's how we get through every day. So,
Yep.
um just I think lowering the stakes a little bit and
Yeah.
know that you're supposed to enjoy this in a way. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, that's you hit the nail on the head there. It's like, I'm thoroughly enjoying every piece of my training, which, like, I when I'm writing programs for other people, I want them to feel the same. Like, I understand that exercise, like, it's been a huge part of my life for forever, right? And I know it might not be the same, it might not hold the same weight for somebody else, or the same level of enjoyment, but, like, it could, maybe.
mhm,
Like, let's see what that looks like. Like, anytime I'm sitting down with a new client, I'm like, "What movements do you like? Like, what would you be excited to wake up and do?" And if it's like, if exercise for you has always been something that you don't want to wake up and do, like, I get it. Like, but let's try with something, like, maybe there's one movement that we can work on where, like, you're excited to see progress in this movement, right? Like, if
that's a good
it's
idea. Yep,
working for, like, you want to get a pull up, like, okay, we better start with your pulling strength. Like, can you hang on to a bar for 10 seconds? Like, can you hold your own body weight, right? So
yeah,
finding little pieces where you can enjoy it, because it makes such a difference. Like, I still get nervous for my workouts because they're hard, but, like,
right,
it's in a good way. Like, and if I can't hit the weight that week, it's okay. Like, I'll just wasn't my week. I'll come back next week. I'll try it again. Like, same with the runs. Like, I'm getting more and more nervous for these runs because the miles are, like, slowly creeping up and I'm a year out. Like, I've had conversations with friends via text where it's like, I feel like the pressure now that I've signed up for this, or I'm trying to sign up for it. It's still a little
right,
ways away, but, I have to remind myself, like, just because I've signed up for this doesn't mean I'm running a marathon tomorrow or by the end of the month. Like,
mhm,
right now, what I love about it is, like, it's so much about, it's just day to day. Like, you do the miles that are programmed for that day. You rest, you recover, you do it again. And it's really just about accumulating. Like, every time I go for a run, it's a win. It doesn't matter how fast I'm running or what my heart rate is. Like, I'm not that deep into it, which maybe
mhm,
I will at some point, but it's such a fun way to, like, run out the door, come home, and it's a win. Like, and it's, my son now calls, he's like, "Are you going for your morning run?" Like, depending on, it doesn't matter if it's middle of the afternoon or whatever, he knows it's a part of my routine now.
oh, that's cool.
And yeah, it's great. He knows it, like, and it's just, and I, every time I get to come back and I'm like, "Yeah, I did that for you." Like,
Oh,
part of me is like, I did it for me too, but, like, it's nothing but enjoyable. And I think that it's just, I want that for everybody. I want people to be able to enjoy
mhm.
the training that they're doing, right? So,
Yeah, that's great. So,
yeah.
do you feel like there's anything that could stop you from doing it? Like if any obstacle gets in your way, like
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on these runs, I have nothing but time to think about that, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, the only thing would be if God forbid, I get sick or something, right? But,
yeah.
like, I mean, even if I am sick, like, during the training, I just take a week off. But, like, we're talking to another friend who, there was a hurricane in 2012 for the New York City. They had to cancel it, and,
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah, that was back. And she was like, she had trained hard for it, and she said,
Right.
but I guess there was a story about, the volunteers, like, a bunch of runners volunteered and helped the city of New York when I think it was Hurricane, she said Sandy maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, but, like, yeah, so there, that stuff obviously, but, no, I mean, I don't. I think I know there's going to be obstacles, and I'm like, every day is going to provide a different challenge, whether it's, like, how I feel, but there's things that I can do to control that too, right? Like it's no different than every day we wake up, we can either be reactive to the day or proactive to the day.
Mhm.
So the day is going to present things, but we always have the choice in how we respond to what the day is bringing. So, like this week, I feel a little bit sick. I don't know. I mean, everybody's sick in our house, and it's probably
Right.
going to be, maybe I don't go as fast as I did, and maybe I mean, yeah, maybe I have to walk for a little bit of my running, but
Yeah.
still going to get it done.
Just
It's
getting the
just
miles in, right?
it literally I can't that's the part that, like, I'm really appreciating about running is, like, it's literally just about the volume, like,
Yeah.
it's strength training. You can go into the gym and you can sandbag your way through it, right? You can not push the weights, you can skip reps, you can do that, and you're not gonna get better.
Mhm.
And I guess it's the same with running, but, like, it feels so, like, plug and play that it's just like, this is just what I have to do. Like, you just go out and you get the miles in,
Right.
and might as well enjoy it. So,
Fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
Um,
And I love how you talked about, just asking people questions before you start programming for them and coaching for them with strength training that, you know, if even if they don't enjoy or they haven't enjoyed exercise yet, there's a reason for it, right? And you're kind of opening up the opportunity, like even if you have to start small or something that might not make a huge impact on their goal today. It's the gateway to getting to more and
mhm.
to finding what they enjoy. And they don't have to have the answer today, right? That's what you're there for to help guide them
Yeah,
and find something that will be a good fit. So
absolutely.
I think that's great that that's your approach.
Yeah.
And Sheena used to coach me too. For any of you who don't know, I when I started CrossFit 15, almost 16 years ago. Sheena was one of my coaches. She did private coaching for me, and after I started CrossFit, and I can tell you she does a really great job of, like, figuring out how to get you excited about what
Yeah.
you're doing, so
It should be that way, right? It doesn't have to be, generic plug and play. And yeah, I want it to be fun. And I love that part about you know,
yeah,
individual program design. I think that's really fun. So,
yeah,
when you were just talking about, like, making those small changes too, like, my brain always goes to nutrition, right? Like, it's like there's such a parallel with starting people, meeting people where they're at, right? In the
mhm,
gym. Like, if there's something you don't like, I'm going to introduce something, right? Like, I don't like vegetables. Let's introduce a vegetable like food that you might enjoy. And, like, we
yeah.
we open that pathway, right? What are some changes that you make with your nutrition clients that, like, talking about meeting people where they're at, and maybe these kind of like micro goals that we can transfer from the fitness world over to nutrition?
Yeah, well, you mentioned vegetables, and this reminds me. I think you've said this before. It's like it depends where the client is, right? You might not
Mhm.
start them here, but eat vegetables like it's your job.
Yeah.
And I've heard you say that.
Yep.
I think one of the things I say to clients is, I try to empathize with them because we've all, most likely, all of us have had the experience when we grew up where an adult in our household, cooked a vegetable that we didn't like, right? Like kids, our palates change as we get older. I mean, I grew up in a time in the '70s when it was a lot of canned vegetables and,
Mhm.
my mom grew up on a farm, so it was like pickled beets and things like that, and I was like, "Wow, this is not enjoyable." So, I try to say, "Listen, a lot of us have, like, have been traumatized
Yeah.
and been told that we had to eat something," and I think that is a really important piece of this, is that I'm sure the adults got really frustrated because they were trying to put a meal on the table and just they wanted to be done with it and feed their families and kind of walk away. And then if the child said, "This is disgusting," or "I don't want to eat it," or "I'm giving it to the dog," there wasn't that dialogue. It was like, you have to eat what everybody else is eating. So we were kind of forced into eating something. And now as adults, I try to get the same way you talked about enjoying exercise. It's like, okay, if let's say you were at a restaurant and you had a vegetable, or what's the last vegetable you enjoyed? It's a, very similar conversation. Let's talk about, do they even like to cook? Maybe they don't like to cook. Maybe they don't even know how to cook a vegetable. Maybe their
Mhm.
parents never even served vegetables. And so, like, those are all things that are really important to know on the back end, what happened, because I've gotta meet somebody where they are,
Right.
and, maybe they went to a friend's house, or maybe at Thanksgiving, they had some vegetable that they had never tried before and they really liked. So, maybe we'll go to ChatGPT or tell them to go to Google and let's find a recipe that only has 3 ingredients, and I can walk them through it. Or,
Mhm.
they can ask their friend, how did they prepare that food? And I think vegetables taste very different depending on how they're cooked. If you steam them and you overcook them, they're not going to be great.
Yeah.
Raw vegetables, like I like to roast vegetables with olive
Yeah.
oil and salt and pepper, like the easiest form. And then if you want to add from there, great. You can experiment later. But I think just starting people at the very basics and then reminding them that the first time they try something, it may not be what they like, and that's okay too. It's like just being willing to continue trying.
Yeah.
And that I think is the most important thing, right? Same with your running strategy, or like you might take a route and there are too many stoplights,
Mhm.
and you're like, you know what? That route didn't work. So tomorrow I'm going to try a different route. And it's just continuing to chip away and find out what works for you. And there's no shame in not liking a vegetable. Or if you don't even want to cook vegetables, how can we get you to the store to buy like maybe pre-cut vegetables that you can just throw in a pan? Or
Yep. Yep.
like it's just like getting people like start small. It's like
Start
back
small.
marble,
Exactly.
right? Like start
Exactly.
really small. So that's where I try to get people to start. And by the way, I don't like New Year's resolutions either. I talked to a couple of people at between Thanksgiving and the first week. Like it's just an odd time of year, and people were like, "Well, why would I start now?" And it's
Why
like,
wouldn't you?
why wouldn't you? It's like, guess what? You're going to learn some valuable things getting through one of the toughest food seasons, or
Mhm.
what people claim is one of the toughest food seasons. And then I'll say to them, you know what? In January, there's going to be a birthday. In February, there's going to be
Right.
Valentine's Day. In March, it's going to be spring break. In April, it's going to be Easter or another holiday. Then
Yep.
you have graduations. Then it's vacation. I mean,
Yep.
every every day there's an opportunity to choose to eat healthier, and every day
Yep.
there is something tempting you,
Yep.
and that's the skill, is in learning how to navigate that, and it doesn't
Yep.
matter what time of year it is. So that
Yep.
client is actually starting January 5th. So I
Just
to
waiting out.
convince her it didn't work out, and I get it. It's a really
That's
busy
okay.
time of year. So
I bet this time next year that client will be like, "I get it now. I get it. I get
yeah,
why you wanted me to
exactly.
start." Yeah. 'Cause
Exactly.
it's such an interesting, like I don't know what the mentality is, but I mean, I guess I do. I don't know how to explain the mentality around it, right? But you can see where people are seeking permission to take that time off, right? It's like, well, everybody else is gonna or it's gonna be too hard. So like there's gonna be too much food around and it's December 22nd, so I might as well wait until January 5th or
Mhm.
whatever. Like there's so many days in between there that like you don't need to give yourself permission to eat like crap during those
Yeah.
times. Like you can rest. And what if you actually decided to like fuel your body, even like 80, like eat more vegetables and then give yourself the cheesecake or whatever. But like, what if you actually tried to like accumulate these small wins and like each day was a marble, right? And like you started putting those marbles in your jar and you actually showed yourself, oh, there's like, I can actually make progress here. And I don't have to like always live in the future where my goal is waiting for me, right? Like your goal is waiting for you right now. You can choose to work towards your goal right now if you want to. But I
Yeah.
think that ownership sometimes scares people. Like they don't want to it feels like a lot of responsibility
And
or
it
maybe
is.
it is. It is, but it's also freaking empowering. So like we just want people to
Exactly.
try it, right? Like we want people to try and like what does it actually feel like to take control of your choices and know that like you are responsible for your own health and happiness. Like you absolutely are. Like no one is forcing you to eat the cheesecake. No one is forcing you not to exercise or it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. I just there's something about that arbitrary thing of like waiting for your goal in the future that it, just do it now. Just start right now. Like
I
I don't
know.
know.
I know. You know what? I love how you reframed it from a big responsibility to empowering,
Mhm.
and it just reminded me of, like, the stress that I would feel. Like, I went to Costco on Friday night with my sister and her husband, and, Costco is big everything, right?
Always.
I just live with my dog, so I don't need, like, big multi-size anything, so I get a little bit of anxiety when I go in anyway, and I don't even think about it anymore, and I never like, if you asked me 10 years ago, would I be thinking the way I'm thinking when I go into Costco during the holidays? I would have said, "No, you're wrong." But I went in and I bought frozen fish, frozen sea bass. I bought 2 packs of, like, huge packs of Pura Vida vegetables. I did
Nice.
get some Dubliner cheese, um, that is going to be kind of a garnish. I'm not going to sit there and eat 2 pounds of cheese in one night, and that's all I got while I was there. I didn't get, like, cookies and candy and, like,
Mhm.
booze and, like, all of these things. It's like I went in with a list, I got what I needed, I got excited about the fact that I could get something healthy. It was almost gamifying it. Like, I can
Mhm.
walk in here and I don't have to walk out with 5 pounds of chocolate
Right.
because I know that that doesn't work for me. I feel better when I eat this food. It's not even a conscious thought anymore because I've put in so much effort over so long. So,
Mhm. Yeah. It makes sense because it's like, I mean, you go in there and it's like, "Oh, but this is a deal," right? Like this 5-pound bag of whatever, I don't
yeah,
chocolate things, whatever. It's like, "Oh, I can't get this anywhere else." And it's like, so what? Like, you don't have to buy it just because
yeah,
it's a deal, right? Like that deal is not giving you permission to take that thing home and then knowing that you're going to eat all of it.
mhm,
Like, if that's what you're like, and I think if people sometimes get scared to go that deep and be like, why do I really want to have this 5-pound bag of chocolate? Like, I can go to 7-Eleven and get like a little square. Like,
yeah,
it's just like the psyche of like what happens when I truly actually go into my thoughts and like understand what I'm truly feeling, right?
mhm,
Like, I always come back to that permission word. Like, people just want permission to kind of take the easy route or like give in to the thing that they don't actually want. Like, it feels good for a second to eat 5 pounds of chocolate.
right.
And then, yeah, like the next day you're like, oh crap, like this is not good. Right. And yeah, Costco is a wonderful place for many reasons. And
I
that is
know.
one.
Well, and the thing is we want people to be able to eat that chocolate, but in a
Yeah.
way that does feel empowering, that you do
Mhm.
take personal responsibility and say, "Yeah, I'm just gonna have I might buy the 5-pound bag of chocolate, but I'm sharing it with people who are coming over, and I know that I'm only going to have 2 bites of it, or I'm giving it to my neighbor
Mhm.
and asking them if I can have a piece," or,
Mhm.
it just you change how you look at it, and that's what I try to help clients with, right? It's like, take the power back. That
Yeah.
food shouldn't have more power than you have over the
Mhm.
food. And if that's happening and it's like just in your mind and you're ruminating about food, we want to help you learn how to take back the power
Yeah.
and know that you don't have to restrict and never have chocolate the rest of your life. Like, no,
Right.
we want you to find a way to like eat it in moderation and really enjoy it.
Yeah, find a way to fit it in. Yeah. That reminds me of I can't remember if we had this conversation during Thanksgiving with the, like, leftovers, right? Like, if you're at a party or if somebody like, you've got stuff at your house and you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna throw this away, that's wasteful," right? It's the same thing. It's like, you can keep the chocolate in the bag and, like, put it away. Like, chocolate will stay good for a while. Like, just because
Yeah,
it's there doesn't mean that your body then becomes a garbage disposal. Like, your body does not have to like, throwing it away in the garbage, if that feels weird to you, but and you'd rather eat it and, like, get your money's worth or, like,
hmm,
somehow I don't my parents are notorious for this, like, they won't let anything go to waste, and I'm like, "You don't have like, you are not the garbage. You do not have to
right.
eat this.
Yeah,
We spent $3.99 on this, like, it doesn't mean that you have to finish it and put it in your body for it to be of value." Like,
right.
it's you know what I mean? I always have that conversation with people. It's just like, just because it's there doesn't mean that your body now has to be the vessel for it. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanna enjoy it, but, like, by no means are you responsible for making use of that food, or, like, your body doesn't have to be the receptacle for that food. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, and you know what? I think this is a great segue into like people practicing. Like, let's say they're not ready to set goals for 2026. What they can do in the spirit of you can start today is, take a look at what you typically do, your traditions over the holidays. And can you just stop for a second? Like, just pause before it doesn't mean tell yourself not to eat it. It's just consciously thinking about your choice first. Like,
Mhm.
do I want this because I'm hungry? Do I want this because it's here? Do I want this because I'm stressed? What just looking into those things, like, just understand yourself a little better because so many of us are so busy. There's food everywhere, right? We can go to a drive-through, we can go into 7-Eleven, it's in our house. And because we're living such busy lives, we sometimes aren't even aware of the habits we have around food and what drives us to eat it. And so maybe you don't put pressure on yourself to count your macros or, do anything, exercise routine and commit to that, but just commit to being aware of your patterns around food and exercise, and maybe go for a walk with after dinner one night when you're with your family and you normally don't do that before you sit down and watch a holiday movie. How did it feel to do that? You're just going
Mhm.
for a walk. Like, just start, like, low pressure,
Yeah.
and that's how you can then decide based on how you felt from now until the end of the year doing something as simple as that. What do you want? What goal do you wanna set? And maybe it's just 1 or 2 small things, and maybe you do quarterly goals, or maybe you do a monthly goal, or maybe you do a weekly goal, you break it down. You get to decide how it looks, and you know how you work and what motivates you, and,
Yeah.
it's I think just looking at that would.
No, that's perfect. And it's like starting with the walk, right? Where I think most people would then be like, "Oh, it's just a walk. Like
Right.
it's not important or it doesn't matter," right? Like sometimes it's like the walk can feel really hard or the walk can feel like but like how many times you like dismiss the walk, right? How many marbles are you missing adding to the jar by dismissing that, right? Like eventually that begin like that's how I started into running. It was like I just started walking like forever ago. I was like, I'm not walking somewhere. I can drive there. Like, why would I do that? And you really like, yeah, your steps are important and kind of reframing maybe how you like everything matters, right? Everything does. And if you want it to matter, it matters. But if you don't want it to matter, like guess what? It still matters. But it is important and it's important if you decide it is, right? Like a 10-minute walk to somebody might not feel like exercise, but the 10-minute walk is that it's you committing to something that you know might be beneficial for you and doing it repeatedly, like doing it over and over again. That does matter. So your little not matters actually do matter and they add up a
Yeah.
lot.
You know what, Sheena, I think that's a great place to end where you said, "You decide if it's important,"
Mhm.
because we can talk ourselves out of everything. So, think about what's important to you and who you wanna become in 2026, and, it doesn't have to be a resolution, but just you get to decide what's important to you.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Well, happy holidays, Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Mm, yeah, same to
All the
all of
good stuff.
you who might be
Yeah.
watching this.
Yes. We will see you guys all in the new year.